Okay, building forward from the 850 cage, the next step, this truck was originally built as an 850 cage, and then our first quarter mile pass we went 827, and that kind of got the attention of the NHRA inspector saying, is there any way we can go faster, get a better cert at 4,500 pounds? So they did make a compromise for us, and that's what they came up with, what we call the 25/6 certification, to where we have to add a good bit of support to this cage. I'll let Lynn kind of go over some of the basics of what we had to add in the winter of 2016 to do what we needed to do to get the 799 certification.
A 25/6 cage is kind of based on an 850 cage. For starters, I'll point out, if you're interested in building a 25/6 cage, the SFI Foundation is who pretty much makes the certification for that. So if you're looking to get a rule book, the best way to do that is to just call them and order one. I also believe these are like 15 or 20 bucks. There's no online ordering. You need to pretty much call them and order it. So this rule book does really well in spelling things out. It's got really good diagrams in the back. If you look here, it's got pictures of the cage structure that's needed. Everything is color coded for different pipe sizes. Then also everything is labeled really well, and they have a nice index to where it helps you find the notes referring to different bars. So they do a really good job of explaining this cage. It's very much a complex cage compared to an 850, but pretty much you have an 850 cage structure here, and the first big difference you'll see is the funny car cage. It gives the enclosure around the driver. It pretty much spells out pretty clearly what you need in regards to that. And then there's an X in the roof that needs done. There's gusseting in each corner of the roof that you need to do. There's a big X that runs in the back on the main hoop. There's an X that is required down between the frame. It's very interesting to do on a four-wheel drive truck with the way our transfer cases and everything are, but you can squeeze one in there. It's not very easy to do. Then also, instead of just the door bar on each side, there's also the X bar that needs to get put in, and then there's also this forward support bar that helps strengthen the front down bars. So that's kind of the basics of a 25/6 cert. Obviously it's very involved. There's a lot of questions you're going to have when you dig into that kind of thing, and once again I'm going to recommend that you run those all by your local NHRA tech, and they'll do really good in pointing you the right direction on the questions you have.
Yeah, I think Lynn spent just as much time upgrading this cage from 850 to 25/6 last winter as we did the original build.
Right.
Just there was enough,
And we had already put a funny car cage in it.
right. There's a lot of pieces that you have to do when you're adding an X to an already certified or an already
Right.
cage. That way there's just a bunch of little pieces.
I mean, it's definitely possible to convert an 850 cage to a 25/6 cage, but I have learned that if you're at all looking, if you think you're going to build a 25/6 cage down the road, if you can start doing that right from the word go, it does make life a whole lot easier.
Right. And then really the weight is what is our handicap. So for us to go into a 650 cert, we would need to get below 3,600 pounds. And the way this truck sits with me in it, as light as we can get it, is about 4,390. So we've got about 110 pounds of ballast to get to 4,500 pounds since we went to the 9-inch axle. So that's really the only thing that's not fiberglass is the cab. This is instead of steel cab. There's still some weight here and there that we could shed, but it's a pretty light for a four-wheel drive. So getting to 3,600 would require a lot of work. I think pretty much the only other thing we want to show you guys is talk a little bit about our new build that we're doing this year. It's going to be a two-wheel drive for the Pro Mod class. That's going to be into a 25/2 cert. I think, Landon, if you want to swing around that way, we'll meet you over there and we'll kind of talk about that a little bit.
Here you see the go-kart version of the new chassis. All of the body panels are off the paint right now. Pretty much this is a customer-owned project that we're working on this year. We're really excited about it. Had a ton of fun doing it so far. This was an old Pro Stock S10 chassis that originally had a gas big block in it. We did a lot of chassis updates to it. We added the double frame rails and pretty much added some other bars into it that we needed to get the 25.2 cert that we needed to do. The other cool thing about this project is that we actually get to campaign it this year. So the plan is to have Larson drive it for the summer, and hopefully we can get all of the new build bugs ironed out of it pretty fast, and we're anticipating to have a lot of fun and hopefully go fast with it. So we've got a lot of good people on board with this build. We're relying heavily on D&J Precision for the engine. It's actually going to get his new billet block in it, along with some other cool new goodies. And Exergy is going to be providing the fuel and the Bosch ECU for it. And then we've got a Rossler Turbo 400 behind it for the transmission. And I've got a Mark Williams 11.5 rear end. So should be a lot of fun. Hopefully we can figure out this whole two-wheel drive game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, we've been pretty diehard four-wheel drive guys, mostly because guys said you can't go fast in a four-wheel drive, and why are you messing around with a four-wheel drive? So this kind of gives us an opportunity to go get our feet wet in a two-wheel drive, and I think we've got a good chassis to start off with, and pretty excited about it. On his 590 truck. They cut the frame off at the back of the cab, and he's working on a 4-link back half setup. Like I said, they're working on trying to shed as much weight as they can, but that's a little bit of, this is your least expensive horsepower, I could say, because the better you 60 foot and the lighter you make it, the less horsepower you need, the less often you're going to refresh your transmission, etc. So this is Deutsch's project. Behind it is Rick's project. It's a little bit more of a go-kart too. He might have gone full retard on it. So it'll be exciting to see these guys come out in 590 with new setups and try to be as light as possible. And I think it'll be fun.